Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of the Community Question Series, episode 5. First off, thanks again for all your guys' participation in my previous 4 episodes in this Community Question Series that I started. I have thoroughly enjoyed reading your guys' answers to the questions as comments, and I also appreciate the few people who have done video responses to my questions. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You're amazing, and I really appreciate it. So the same thing, you guys answer this question. You can answer it as a comment, or you can do a video response, or you can do both of them. And for anybody who participates in this question series, you'll be entered into my contest that I'll have at the end of the question series. And you can go back at any time and respond to previous questions if you missed them and answer them and get additional entries into the contest. So long as the contest hasn't been completed, you guys have plenty of time to do the different videos. Even once I do upload the contest video, I'm going to give people a week or two to actually go back and answer those questions. But I really appreciate all the support you guys have been showing my channel and the participation you guys have been having. And I've been having a blast doing these community questions. So this one I'm going to ask is, are you guys collect physical, or are you more into collecting digital games these days? That's the question. So for me, I love my physical games over digital stuff. I'm just not a fan of digital only content for some big reasons. First off, I just like physically having a cartridge or a game that I can hold, like a PlayStation 1 game or a PSP title or an NES game. I just like physically having a game that I own and that I can play whenever I want to. Because unfortunately, when you get into the world of digital games, you're at the mercy of Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo, whoever owns the rights to those digital games, and they can turn your access off to that like that at any time, and it can be completely out of their control too. They can have, a licensing issue with a partner or something that says, okay, you know what, no, you guys can't have it anymore. I'm taking it away. Sorry, we have to delete it now from our servers because Joe's whatever company, had a falling out with us and they made us take us off their network. Like stuff like that has happened to me on Netflix. Law and Order, the original series, they had all 20 seasons on there. I was in the middle of watching it on Netflix, and Netflix ended up losing a license to it, and Law and Order was gone, and I could no longer access it anymore. And so I had to actually go out and buy my own physical DVD set, which I also have a bunch of movies, TV shows, and stuff, because that way I can enjoy them whenever I want to, and nobody can dictate when I can play them or when I can enjoy them. Because when you're at with digital, you're at the mercy of those people, and I don't like having that. I like to own my experience because basically for me, digital copies is basically like glorified rentals. Is how I look at it. Like I know people love that Game Pass that Microsoft has, where you get access to over 100 games at any time to play, and you pay like $15 a month. However, for me, there's games in there I would love to play, but what happens when I want to play that game 5 years from now, 10 years from now? That's not always going to be on there on that Game Pass, and which means then I'd have to go out and buy a digital copy of it to keep playing the game. So that's another thing I don't like the Game Pass. I know it's great for some people, but for me, it's not with the way I play games. I don't always play like the newest game right now. I might not play it for a year or two, 3 years from now, or I want to go back to an older game. And with that Game Pass, you can't always do that when they take things away from you. So that's another thing I don't like about digital games. I also, the digital games do take up space, and especially as we're getting into um, 4K gaming and they're talking about 8K gaming. These games are getting larger and larger, 100 gigs, 200 gigs, 400 gigs. I mean, it won't be out of the complete realm of possibility we could get terabyte sized games eventually. And that's a lot of stuff to download over the internet. Not everybody has the fastest internet connections and speeds and stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that your internet provider also throttles you. They have a certain line for your area, and they only allow so many megabytes to be used. And if you have a ton of people on at once, you're all sharing that same line, regardless of the price you pay. And your internet will only download so fast. And I know, like in Europe and other countries and stuff, they have much better internet than we have here in America. But in America, our internet can be kind of crappy, and not everybody has unlimited access to internet either. Some people's providers, I know I've heard, you have data caps, and once you go over that, you have to start paying big bucks for every gigabyte you go over. So not everybody has access to that, and so I can see that being a problem. Sitting there having to download a 100 gig game and spending 6 hours to download before you can even freaking enjoy it. And then you got to install. I mean, there's still, there's that with modern game. You got to install games, which irritate me. I can't just pop it in and play. But that's something I just don't like about digital too, because then they all, they take up so much space, in the hard drive. And the hard drives, they can give you 500 gigs or a terabyte, and you can only install so many games, especially if they're large. Like some of those Call of Duty games, like 150 gigs, and you get all the expansions in there. And index, you got to buy external hard drives to store everything, and then those aren't foolproof either, because I had a hard drive that failed me after 8 years, because they only have like a 10-year shelf life, and if they're used all the time, you're accessing them all the time, it wears out the parts physically on there, and it can be deleted. And so that's another thing. What happens, you buy all these digital games, but all right, sorry, but we shut down Xbox 360 servers, all the games that you downloaded, well, you can't re-download them anymore because we got rid of it. It's 15 years from now. They just shut it down completely. Oh, look, my hard drive crashed out. Well, I'm out of that game now. I can't ever get it. I have to go get a physical copy. So that's why I will always love my physical games, because nobody can take my access away. Nobody can tell me I can't play it when I want to play. They can't turn off the access anytime, because when you sign up for those digital games, in that little user agreement, it says you don't own this game, you don't own the rights to it, and that we reserve the right to take that access from you at any time. And it's right there in the software. Hell, it's even in this thing. When you buy these used games in the manual and the stuff, it tells you don't technically own this. However, somebody's not going to come to my house and take Command and Conquer Red Alert from me and say I can't play it anymore. I can pop it in and play it anytime I want to. Now, I do know some people, don't like that the old games take up, so much space. However, you can solve that by just, refining your collection and keeping it small. I mean, don't go madhouse crazy like I've done and have thousands of games everywhere. Of course, yeah, this takes up a lot of space. But if you were to narrow it down to just a few consoles, like 20 or 30 games for each console that you really, really want to play, you can fit it all on one of these nice shelves here. You can have your whole physical collection there and play them. Another thing I love about, physical games is you can take this game or this game and you can sell them on eBay and recoup your money. You can give them to a buddy to try out. You can sell them on the Facebook Marketplace. You can trade them into a local game store. You have digital copies. You can't sell digital copies to people. You can't trade digital copies to people. They're useless. Once you buy them, they're only for you and they're tied to your account, especially if it's like Nintendo. They have the absolute worst thing when it comes to digital content, at least like Microsoft and Sony, it's tied to your profile and you can play it on any console. Nintendo, they tie it to the physical console you buy, like the Nintendo Switch. If you buy it on that Switch, it's tied to that Switch. If you go to another Switch, you can't, it's not on that console. You would have to buy it again. And so they are not very friendly when it comes to digital games, at least Nintendo. I like Microsoft, at least, if I play on any random Xbox One I have, I can, plug my profile up and I can at least access my digital content there, where Nintendo's like the worst when it comes to digital games because it's tied to that console. And if you buy them used at like my local game stores, all they do is they completely wipe the hard drives of all their consoles, take all the data off it because they don't want anyone stealing anyone's credit card or profiles or anything, and that they completely erase it. So when they do that, all that digital content was on those consoles is gone, and you can't ever retrieve it again. So that's another thing I just don't like about digital. People can take that access from me anytime they want. With at least physical, I own it and I can play it anytime I want. Now, granted, with the new games for Xbox One and PS4, a lot of them require day one patches. So I can't 100% say that some of these physical games I bought, I'll always be able to play if I can't get the patch. Especially if the server's down, you won't be able to get that needed patch. I know, like Mad Max example, my buddy Dean, he put over like 200 hours in that game, I think 5 or 6 playthroughs, because he kept getting game-breaking bugs and glitches until they finally patched it. Well, if somebody grabs that game 20 years from now and the servers are down and they open a brand new copy, pop in their PS4, they might not actually be able to play and enjoy it because they don't have, access to it. So I don't like, digital only games. Now, there are a few digital games I do own. I have bought some myself. There are some that were only released that way, like the original State of Decay was, before they made a HD remaster of it on Xbox One, and I liked it. There's certain games, if that's the only way I can get them and enjoy them, then I will. But then I go to great lengths to try to back them up, like on extra hard drives or more than one console. I'll put them on there just so I have backups for whenever that server shuts down, because it's going to happen eventually, especially for PS3 and 360. They're not going to keep them up forever, and those games will eventually close down, and then you also lose access to content. So for me, I have to go physical. You guys know I love my physical collection. You've seen my massive collection. I've gone over it. You guys have been with it, especially if you've been with me since I started my channel 10 years ago. You've seen my collection grow. I will always prefer physical games over over digital games. And if we go to that 100% digital only future, which is where we're going to head it, that's where we're going to go eventually, I will have to stop playing the new games and I'll just focus on what I already have. But for me, physical all the way, 100%. A little bit of digital here and there, but I prefer physical. Now, I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this question. Do you guys like physical, or have you gotten away from the physical and you just do digital? I know a lot of people. I got a few buddies, all they buy are digital because they don't have to wait in line at midnight launches. The game just starts downloading, they can install it. They have it on the hard drive. It takes up no space at all. They don't have to have shelves of games everywhere. So what is your guys' thoughts on this question? Would love to hear answer. Do you guys like your physical games? Do you like digital? Are you kind of in the middle between the two? Love to hear your guys' answers to that. If you guys would like to do a video response to this question, please do that. I would love to watch it. If you do, please leave a link to your video as a comment because I don't always get notifications of videos that people upload that I'm subscribed to. Or maybe I'm not subscribed to you and you want to leave a video, I won't know that you guys made a video response. So please leave it as a link. And you can also answer the question as a comment. And if you do both, get you extra entries into my contest that I'll have at the end of this series. Again, I want to thank you guys so much. Take care. Have an amazing day. I'll see you guys next time.